All right, good afternoon, everybody. Joe Fry here with Igor Henriquez. Just a two-man show today. Our guys are going to be back next week. Just couldn't get the times to add up today, so they gave us their 5 picks, and me and Igor are going to break down whatever games are happening. I did notice that there's some games with the COVID protocols that are pushing it. I just saw it today. Some Tuesday games and some Monday games. But Igor, we're going to start with your guys. New England's been on a bit of a run, and they're traveling to Indy, who has been probably one of the the hottest teams in the league. They've had some really big wins, some statement wins. Obviously, that one at Buffalo as well. So two teams that are pretty hot right now. The line I have is Indy -2.5. So we do have a Saturday night game, which is good with college football done. We'll probably watch that tonight. Give me your take, a little bit of breakdown on your guys.
I mean, yeah, the Patriots. It's this is going to be their big time stretch. So they have to go to Indianapolis next week. The Bills come over there. So it's basically I'll make it or break it for maybe the division and maybe even the top seed in the conference. This game is going to be really on who dominates the run game. I think the Colts with Jonathan Taylor have been great. Taylor's probably been the best running back in the league, bar your boy Derrick Henry, who unfortunately got injured. And the Patriots, no Harris for the Patriots, so it's going to be the Ramondre Stevenson show. It's going to be a tight game. I think that the 3 points are pretty much where I think the game will end up being. Again, the Patriots are on a crazy streak. I thought that the Bills might be the ones to break it. I'm going to take the Colts to actually probably win the game. I think they kind of need it a little bit more than the Pats in specific areas in terms of making the playoffs. Yeah, I think it'll be the Patriots run defense against the Indy run defense. That'll be the difference. But I think Indy will squeak out a home victory.
I love the analysis, and I agree. Indy might be my pick of the week, 2.5. So, and I called this kind of at the beginning of the season. So now with Tennessee now at 9-4, just looking at the AFC South, and then the Colts at 7-6. Tennessee's a dog this week. I just checked it out playing Pittsburgh, and obviously Derrick Henry's out, Julio's back, AJ is still out. So let's assume that Tennessee loses and the Colts win. You have 9-5 and 8-6 going into however many weeks you have left of the season. All of a sudden we have a division race there. But I like Indy as well. Jonathan Taylor, I think, has to be at least obviously considered top 2 guy for the MVP with Brady, probably at this point. And the fact that he's just taking that team on his back. Wentz hasn't had the greatest season. We've seen some lowlights from him, but the fact their defense I've always been a fan of, and their O-line. So we're both on the agreement there that Indy is going to win tonight. So yeah, it's at 2.5, and then Igor, I don't know if you noticed what hat I'm wearing. But how about them Cowboys? Cowboys 11.5. Cowboys 11.5 going to the Giants. I saw a promo that the Giants are offering season ticket holders a free medium soft drink. Now, I don't know if you saw that, but how bad is it getting that people don't want to go watch the Giants, especially in this big rivalry game? Is there going to be more Cowboys fans than Giants?
I mean, yeah, I think there probably will be. But again, I mean, New Yorkers tend to do show out a little bit. Yeah. It is pretty sad, but again, the Giants and the Jets, will have opportunities going forward because of the draft pick situation to get better. You know what? It's a tough game to call because the Cowboys are going through, again, Tony Pollard, and I don't know how banged up Ezekiel Elliott is. Division games usually are pretty hard fought. At 11.5, I think that's too much, even though you're wearing the hat and trying to rep them Cowboys. I think it'll be a closer game than that in New York. And I think the Cowboys will win, but I'll probably say they'll probably win by about 10 points and not cover. So I'll take the Giants to cover because I think the number is a little too high in a division game, especially a road division game. I'm
just looking at the Giants injury report, and I'm on the app. I'm having to scroll probably 2 screen lengths of the injuries here. It's not looking good. Tony's still on the injured list, and he was obviously a big part of their passing game. Danny Dimes still out.
Back though, that's good.
Shepard, yeah, he's listed as questionable. He's probably going to play, and obviously you have the backup there, a quarterback. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like Pollard, like you said, is banged up. Zeke hasn't been incredible this year. Dak hasn't been the same the last month or so. I think something's up with him. We were waiting for his injuries to kind of kick in. I love the Giants as well. They're my pick, plus the 11.5. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the Giants end up just winning this game. I think that there might be, who knows, we have snow here, and maybe in New York they're going to have that same kind of weather. It looks like the Northeast might have some snow. I think it's going to be an ugly game, possibly low scoring. I'm going to take the Giants plus the 11.5 for sure. Let's go on to my Titans. So Tennessee started off, from what I saw, as a 1-point favorite. They're traveling to Pittsburgh. And if it wasn't COVID times, I might even make my way to that game because I usually I love. That's a terrible towel with Lendell Way. Remember that fiasco back in the
Yes,
day
yes, yes.
when he stomped on it. But I'll let you go first. Who do you like in this one? 1.5 for Pittsburgh.
It's a tough situation there because both teams obviously the Steelers haven't been very consistent. I think the difference will probably be that I think the Titans defense will really get to Big Ben, and in this type of situation, the Steelers against good teams have really had their issues. So I'm going to take your Titans. I think I'm getting right now. I'm getting Steelers at 1.5, which means all I need is the Titans to win the game. Yeah, I think the Titans are the better team overall. I think Julio's going to have a bigger influence on a second week back. So that'll help the passing game. I think that I'm pretty sure that TJ Watt is going to be out, which I'll always, the Steelers defense kind of relies a little bit on that. Yeah, I'll take the Titans to win a close game, but yeah, I'll take the better team.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm just looking at Tennessee's record against the spread, 8-5, which is good for the 5th best record in football against the spread. That's the only thing that I'm kind of worried about. The spread to me is a little bit fishy, and the fact that it's moved about 2 points in the last few days. I haven't seen any more injuries. We know Julio's going to play. I keep saying all year, he just hasn't been the same guy with that hamstring injury. AJ's out. The Titans running backs has been good. Quarterback position, I'm still worried about. But then again, with Big Ben, I feel like the Titans still have an advantage there. So I don't know. My heart's telling me Tennessee, but my mind's telling me Pittsburgh. So unfortunately, I did a 12 game before we got here. I took Tennessee, but I kind of want to take Pittsburgh. I'm going to take Tennessee, even though I shouldn't.
There you go.
I'll take Tennessee.
We're all in agreement on the picks. That usually spells trouble.
Yeah, it does spell trouble. Let's go to Orchard Park. Buffalo 13-point favorites against Carolina. I have to assume that everybody is probably going to be on Buffalo because Buffalo's usually blown out bad teams all year. They've played, the Jets, Miami, all those games at home. They've won almost by shutout, most of them. Carolina can't move the ball at all. Cam Newton's looked atrocious. All the reason to take Buffalo, which I had to go against it. And just in a fading pick, I'm taking Carolina plus 13 points in an ugly game.
Yeah, I think it's a big number, and I completely understand that the Panthers have been pretty bad. Again, the Bills have a really good pass D, but the rush D has been pretty bad. The last few weeks they've been gashed for yardage like crazy. Again, that's the bread and butter that the Panthers have, and that's what Newton does very well. Even without Christian McCaffrey, I mean, I think that they could still get some yardage out of the Canadian Chuba Hubbard. I think the Bills will win the game. But again, just a lot of points, a lot of situations going around the league. Not comfortable laying 13 with the Bills at the moment, the way that they're playing. They've played bad against bad teams. They lost to the Jaguars. So again, 13 points. I'll take the Panthers to cover that. And again, I think that Cam will have a decent game just on the ground against the team.
Run the ball, right?
Yeah, he's really struggling on the ground.
All right, so in agreement for every pick so far. Let's go to Jacksonville. Jacksonville -5 at home. Con and the boys taking on Houston Texans. Tyrod's still not going to play. Jacksonville fired Urban Myers. This would have been really a good time to talk with Rob and Brandon about this. We'll get together next week. We'll have maybe a discussion on that. Who would have thought he wouldn't have made it through 1 year on a 5-year deal? And I was talking with my buddy who's the Jags fan, and he said they're probably going to try and I don't know about take him to court, but try and get about the whole scandals that he had.
Yeah, the reasonable cost. Yeah, the reasonable cost situation that he got himself fired because of his behavior, so they don't have to pay him. Makes sense.
Who do you like in the game?
You know what? I think the Jaguars are going to be fired up. I think the Jaguars are going to be. I think the Jaguars are finally going to have a different system. I think they're going to let James Robinson roll. This is a great spot for them, obviously, because the Texans aren't very good either. They're at home. I think they're going to be relieved that Meyer's gone. And they'll play. And maybe I think Trevor Lawrence will have his best game. I think the Jaguars win by a touchdown. And
a motivated Jags team.
What was that?
A motivated Jags team.
A motivated Jags team, and one that I think is going to get free from a lot of I didn't like a lot of what it's one of those weird things. Your quarterback literally tells you, "Hey, we got to use our best weapon offensively more," and the same week, you literally give him 5 rushing attempts and not even any plays for him in the passing game. It was a disaster. Robinson's been a disappointment, mostly because he's been handcuffed by what Meyer was doing. I think they'll use him extensively. and he'll have a breakout game of his season, and they'll win the game by a touchdown.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Chenault's another one. I think Chenault's a talented kid that hasn't been getting any opportunities. They've been giving them to journeymen that have really been around the league, but you're not using the guys that you should be using.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think that they're going to win by at least a touchdown. I agree with you there. So we both are on every pick so far. Let's go to the team that's let you down a lot this year. The Detroit Lions. Detroit's at home, 13 or was 13 and a half. Might have gone down to 12 and a half for Arizona. So Kyler seems to be back in. We know that Hopkins is probably going to come back in the playoffs. He had that minor knee surgery. Can you bet on a team that's won one game all year?
This is the one where, again, based off the fact that I think the Lions have already, they won that one game. That was their Super Bowl. The Cardinals, you're right, they're missing Hopkins. The Cardinals defense, I think will give Jared Goff a lot of problems. Again, I don't know. I still don't know how many of the Lions running backs are still on the COVID list and so forth. I think, this will be a Kyler Murray game where, and they use the running game. Again, Chase Edmonds is back again, so he's going to come off the IR. Connor's a little bit banged up. But I think they're just too good of a team here not to win by at least 2 touchdowns. So I got to go Cardinals in this one, even though, again, I hate taking the double digits. But I think the Lions, and Goff, are gonna have a struggle against that Cardinals passing game, which is actually quite good. I think the Cardinals will blow them out.
That's another game we're in agreement on. And it was tough for me because I looked at Arizona and I'm big on against the spread records, 9-4, tied for the 3rd best record with New England against the spread. But I looked at it, and Detroit, we talked about it before, 8-4 against the spread, which puts them in a tie. We're right behind Arizona, the next spot there. So tied for 4th or 5th in the NFL. And their record is, what would it be? 1-12. That's punching above your weight in terms of the betting world. So, I just think, Arizona, we've seen them with backup quarterbacks. We've seen them with second string guys all season to the end of the season, most recently when their guys have been banged up. They cover, they win every week when they travel to San Fran. I'm kind of hoping that they're going to do it. These are 2 games that have been, really, like I said, way too good against the spread, but I'm going to double up with you there. Arizona minus the 12.5. Let's go to Miami, a place that you might have been this weekend or maybe in previous times, but Miami Dolphins minus 10. Another division game against the Jets. Zach Wilson looks terrible, but who do you like?
I think the Dolphins are again next to the Patriots are on a crazy run. The defense is playing great. It all tells me that the Jets not much motivation. I think they're really just tanking for the draft pick at this point because they're out of it. I like the Dolphins. I think they're motivated. I think they see an opportunity here where they can still make a push for a playoff spot, even at 6-7, because again, it just so crumpled up. And with the whole COVID situation, it's still kind of wide open. I think the Dolphins beat them by 2 touchdowns and really hand them a beating in Miami. I think it's just 2 teams going in the opposite direction, especially one that's at home. Give me the Dolphins by 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
The running backs are getting healthier. They got Gaskin back. So they'll have a good complement. Devontae Parker's back. Waddle's in COVID protocol, so that'll be an issue. But I think they're just a better team overall right now.
It's going to be our first game we go against each other. I'm going with the Jets here, and it's the reasons you usually like. Division game, expecting it to be a little bit closer. Jets are by themselves in the basement, not just in the standings, but against the spread rankings. 3 for 10 this year. So I think that they're just kind of due to make this close. Yeah, by far the worst, and also the second worst losing margin against the spread. So Houston is alone there at 13.5, the average points that they're losing by against the spread, and then the Jets are at 13.2. So I'm expecting them to cover here, and then also, like I said, keep it close. To me, 10 points is a little bit too much. Maybe
their spread record, so their spread record and their actual record are the exact same, eh? That's wow. Wow.
Yeah, I'll send that to you now over text. You can take a look at that record as well. But yeah, by themselves there in the basement. Let's go on to Rob's team. Denver's at home. It seems like we've talked about it in terms of teams being similar favorites all year. We looked at teams like Arizona. They're almost like a double digit. Rams have been almost 14 points. I feel like whenever Denver is at home, they're a 3-point favorite. I don't see too much. Like I think against Washington, they're also a 3-point favorite. I'm kind of worried, but who do you like?
Again, this is and it's been a consistent thing. This is one of those fishy lines of the week where I think the Bengals might be the better team, but they haven't been consistent. I think what gives that Broncos an advantage, and I think that like with the gamble, with the Vegas usually does, is playing in that mile high situation and not being
especially
used
in
to
the winter.
that especially in the winter, not used to that kind of that with the situation up there with the yes, with the not the humidity. I'm trying to come up with the word, but I'm
Altitude.
altitude.
Just the
Sorry.
altitude, yeah.
And again, in those situations, it hasn't stirred me wrong. In terms of those fishy lines, I'm gonna take Rob's Broncos because at home they have been quite good, and they're in one of those situations where it's a doer. I think both teams are kind of desperate for wins in terms of keeping up with the divisions and making sure that they make a push for the playoffs. It could be a potential elimination game for the loser. Yeah, I'll take the Broncos to get the job done there. Again, they have a good secondary. That's where the Bengals try to attack a lot. I'll take the Broncos by a field goal.
I'm in total agreement with you. I just think, like I said, the fishy line. Denver's typically a better team at home. They haven't been so far, so I'm expecting their at-home record to get closer to 500. I'm going to ride Denver here minus the 3 as well in the Brandon versus Rob Bowl, which we'll have to get their picks on a little bit later. Let's go to San Fran. San Fran, 9-point favorites. They've really turned their season around, playing really good as of late. Taking on Atlanta, who Atlanta at the beginning of the year, they looked rough in that week 1 loss. I think to Philly, they got crushed. A lot of people gave up on them right away. They haven't been great, but they've been playing better as of late. So Atlanta at San Fran, minus the 9. I'll go first.
Yeah.
I am going to take San Fran minus the 9 points. They don't typically cover at home recently, but I am taking them to cover this
one. Interesting. I think 9.5. Yeah, that's a lot in terms of what the situation's been. I think the Falcons have been playing better. Tough. It's a lot of points to lay on a Niners team that's been kind of inconsistent. I'm going to disagree with you here, and I'm probably I like the Niners. Debo has been a phenomenal all year. I know Mitchell's going to be out again with his injuries. I'll take the Falcons to lose the game, but only lose by a touchdown. I think I'll take the Falcons to cover there. I have an inkling that again, Cordell Patterson.
How long can he do this for?
What was that?
Incredible. How long can he do it for? He's been incredible.
Again, I mean, Russell Gage, they're starting to find a little bit on offense, a little bit. So yeah, I think they'll make it a game and then they'll lose by a touchdown. But yeah, 10 is a little bit. 6.5. I don't know. 9's a little tough on that.
Okay. So we're in a disagreement there as well. Yeah. Let's go to your boy, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. minus 7 going to see Lamar Jackson. I'm not even sure if Lamar's playing. Let me get the update. I made my pick assuming he was playing. But he's questionable with the ankle injury, which he left with a stretcher last week. I guess, even if he does play, probably not going to be as mobile, but they are going to have the home field advantage there. Baltimore, typically a good home team. So Green Bay minus 7 at Baltimore. Who do you like?
Well, here's the thing. So basically and a good spot. And again, they're in a really good spot right now because that Arizona loss last week has pretty much put them up in the first place in the division.
Which is crazy.
In the conference, sorry. And again, so that's obviously what they want, right? You want to keep hold of that. This to me was going to be one of their bogey games, but the Ravens secondary decimated. I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to play. I think it's just games from. I think it's going to be Huntley. I think it's just games from the Baltimore coach. And in that situation, you can't help but thinking that the Packers are going to romp them. I think it works perfectly that the Ravens secondary is really good. Marlon Humphreys is up for the year. They seem ripe for the picking. I'll take the Packers to win by a touchdown. I think if things were different, I think the game would be much more competitive. But with Lamar out and the secondary so decimated, I think it works well for Mr. Ivermectin, and that'll be the game right there.
I like Baltimore. Baltimore had, just in terms of not really too much logic. It's just Green Bay. I feel like everything's really bounced their way all season. Last week we watched the game between the interceptions, the fumbles, the drop punt, like everything just seems to be going their way. And I think that they're due just for a change in fortune. Probably still going to win the game. I think it's maybe going to come down to maybe a last second field goal. I think Baltimore is going to play really motivated just because they're undermanned. It's the end of the season. They're still trying to fight for that division as well in the AFC North. So they need to win because Cleveland and Cincy both at 7-6, just one game behind Baltimore. For them, they're looking at this as a must-win game. And not to say that they're going to win, but like I said, I don't see them by losing by more than 7 points at home. So I'll go Baltimore plus the 7. Let's move on to let me just double check. It is the Sunday nighter here. Tampa Bay. It is. Tampa Bay's at home in prime time against the Saints. 11.5 points for the Bucks. Bucks last week was one of the games we circled against Baltimore. Ended up being a pretty decent game at halftime. I believe it was like 24-0. They came back, went to overtime.
Yeah.
And was it Gronk that got the touchdown?
No, it was Brady. It's Brandon Perriman of all people.
Oh, Perriman, the ex, yeah. I think it was
Perriman went all the way, and he cost me my $5 because that's all I needed was a field goal. And
3.5, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I would have gone 5-0 last week, but he cost me the $5 because now that's what Brady does at the end of the day.
Yeah, just keeps winning big.
Keeps winning. The Saints actually beat them pretty bad early on in the year. Brady had a really bad game. But again, the Saints are it's a different team now with Taysom Hill and not Jameis Winston. Well, Hill likes to run the ball. The Buccaneers are great against the run. Again, they're going to force him to throw. Hill can't throw. To me, it just works. Everything looks like it's in the favor of the Buccaneers. It's a primetime game. I think they're getting healthier. I'm going to take the Buccaneers to romp them in the game just because, again, I just don't trust Taysom Hill to keep it close because I think his running ability won't be there against that great Buccaneers. Even Josh Allen, like they didn't even do much in terms of even they kept throwing it every time because they knew they weren't going to get much on the run with Vita Vea there and like a couple other guys. I think it just plays into the hands of the Buccaneers and the Bucs will romp them. I know it's a division game, usually close, but I got a feeling that the Bucs will win by 14 because I don't know. I don't see the Saints being able to keep up with them.
And you just think that Tampa's just going to keep their foot on the pedal the whole time and have no issues going in?
I think that they'll be ticked that the Saints beat them the last time, and they know pretty much if they win this game, the division is theirs already. So I think they're going to send a message. It's a primetime game. I think they'll try to do their. And Sean Payton is not even going to be coaching because he's got COVID. So
this is the second time I feel like he's been in protocol.
Something like that. Yeah, and the last time that they didn't have the coaching staff
they got
decimated. Everything says Buccaneers by at least 2 touchdowns.
All right, that wraps up the Sunday games. Let's move on to Monday. So,
are you taking the Bucs?
My mistake. No, sorry. Yeah. How could I forget? I love the Saints. I love the Saints, and I remember at the beginning of the year I said, "Hey, I think that the Saints could challenge for the division." Now, obviously, with Jameis out, it's not going to happen. But if they can win 2 games against Tampa this year, which I think that they might end up surprising and winning this game, things are going to look different. So I love the Saints, and I think that they might end up with the upset victory in this game.
Oh, wow.
Let's go to Monday night at 5:00 Eastern, a Sunday game that's been pushed. Actually, I think this actually might have been the Saturday game. Vegas against Cleveland. I think that was scheduled.
Yeah, that was originally the 5:00 game today.
Yeah. So they're going to move that to Monday. Hopefully the guys will get over the protocols there. Vegas 3.5-point favorites at Cleveland, which is very telling because Cleveland, I guess, a better team. Vegas reeling a lot since that hot start. And Baker's out. I believe that they're going to their 3rd-string quarterback as well in that game, Cleveland. So who do you like in that one?
Also, you have it as Vegas -3.
I have it at Vegas -3. Yeah, that's on the score right now, score app. So total's 38 and the spread is 3.5 for Vegas.
The Yahoo app has it as Browns -3 because I thought that was a little bit weird. Yeah, I mean, you can't. Again, no Jarvis Landry, no Baker, 3rd-string quarterback. The Raiders need a win. Again, they're probably not going to have Waller. They're not going to have Waller. I think they're just a healthier team. Nick Mullins, I mean, he's not a terrible quarterback for a 3rd stringer. I mean, he played a couple games for the Niners last year. But the Raiders are just going to try to take away Nick Chubb. I don't think Kareem Hunt's going to be able to play either. Just too many injuries. Give me the Raiders. It just says Cleveland's going to have a hard time putting up points. They're decimated everywhere. The wide receiver position, it's just bad. But give me the Raiders. And the Raiders defense isn't too shabby. Yeah, I'll take the Raiders to win the game.
I'll take the Raiders there too. It's a little bit. I don't like when it swings too much because I feel like these teams still have pride to go out there and play or win. But it might come down to a field goal game. That's what I'm worried about. But I'll stick with the Raiders -3.5. Monday night football game. Minnesota, Kirk Cousins in primetime, I guess. Wow. -6 against Chicago, who kind of wet the bed. Like we said last week with Chicago, I'll pull it up. They scored. If you would have told me that Chicago was going to score 30 points against the Packers, they're going to lose the game and not cover, people would have called you insane. And that's exactly what happened. I'll go first. That's not going to happen twice. They're not after that fiasco last week. And with Minnesota, they have injuries as well, like every other team in the COVID protocols. Bears at home. I think they're going to end Kirk Cousins in primetime. Give me the Bears plus the 6 points. What do you like?
Yeah, I agree with you. The Vikings are the kings of last minute field goals, either winning or losing. They and again, anything that has more than those points, I'll take the other team just because it's been the calling card all year. I mean, they were up huge against Pittsburgh, barely squeaked it out. Yeah, the Bears are a much better home team. And in terms of being away, I'll take the Bears. The Bears might actually even win the game. That one stunned me. But again, give me the Bears to cover the 6 points for sure.
Okay, we're agreement there. Let's go to some Tuesday games that were moved from Sunday due to protocols. Both games going to be at 7 o'clock Eastern. Seattle traveling to the Rams. Rams 4-point favorites, and I think that if the protocols with the Rams, I think that most of their team is at least in protocols, if not sick. That line's probably around 9 or 10. But just due to all those injuries there, we have Rams -4. Who do you like?
Again, so right now, again, I think it's Darrell Henderson, OBJ. Again, so guys that again they've Sony Michel's done a decent job. OBJ just joined the team a couple weeks ago, so yeah, it's a little bit out there. I think the Rams see an opportunity. I think they I think Russell Wilson's gotten on a little bit of a better situation, but I think the Rams at home are pretty strong. Even with those situations in the COVID situation. So if I'm getting under a touchdown, I'll take the Rams to beat them by a touchdown. I think they're the better team overall by a good margin. Oh, and Seattle doesn't have Tyler Lockett either, which is what their big deep threat. So yeah, so I'll take the Rams there for sure.
I'll quickly go through their protocol guys. Von Miller, Hartenstein, lineman, OBJ, Higbee at tight end. One of their corners, Dayon, Mines, Lawler, Ramsey, like those are big time reserve in the COVID protocols.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Some of those guys might still end up playing, but if you're going to ask Russell Wilson, we know that his thumb is just mangled. For him to throw the ball still and keep up with this team, even you're still going to have Stafford and whoever, any able bodies, just a better quarterback, a healthier quarterback, even though he's walking wounded as well. Take the Rams -4. Last game that we have, also a Tuesday 7 o'clock game, division matchup, Washington traveling to Philly, and Philly -10. Big spread, so there must be some protocols there as well.
Again, a big spread there in a division game. Again, I don't know exactly who's out for
Heineke and McLaurin. So Heineke's in COVID protocols. McLaurin's questionable with the concussion. Kurt's questionable so both quarterbacks questionable to play. Wow.
No, that's that. I think that Minshew magic has worked a lot for the Eagles. I guess
it always works for the first few months.
It does, I guess. Like I said, I mean, so Heineke's not the quarterback. I don't even know who the backup for Heineke is because he was the backup to Patrick. So again, based off that, I guess you'd have to go with the Eagles, who are the healthier team. Again, it's a big division game. So you said it was 10 points. That's a
10
lot.
points.
Oof. Minshew did a pretty good job last week. The Washington's decimated on defense too with no Chase Young. Yeah, I'll take the Eagles to win. Again, to me, it's another one of those games like the losers out of the playoff picture for sure. The winner stays in it for another couple of weeks probably. Yeah, give me the Eagles by a couple touchdowns at home.
I love looking at the score comments here too. Two trash teams, two trash cities. Hope they both lose this one.
Yeah, I'm sure those. There's enough NFC hatred in there for sure.
Yeah, sorry. Who did you have in there? I'm just writing it down.
I'll take the Eagles. I mean, it's nothing that's going to be in my fiver or anything, especially with the situation with the Rona. But yeah, I think the Eagles are just a better team right now, less decimated. If McLaurin's not going to play, that really only doesn't leave them much. They already lost Logan Thomas for a good portion there. That means that again, they got to rely on Gibson and McKissick. That to me is questionable. Yeah, so to me, like give me the Eagles. I think the Eagles are just a healthier team. They need to win. It's big there. So yeah, give me the Eagles.
All right. I'm going to go with the Eagles as well, -10. Like I said, not going to make any of my packs, but I'll put them in there by 10. So I'm going to go through our fives now. I'm not sure if you have yours.
Yeah, you can go first. Go ahead.
So I'm actually going to do Brandon and Rob's first. So the guys gave me their picks. So I'll go Rob. Rob has Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Miami, Baltimore, and Tampa. And Brandon is going with Green Bay, Indy, Denver, Atlanta, and Pittsburgh. Well, Brandon won against Cincy. I just noticed that now. So he took Denver in that one.
Even he knows they're fraud.
Wow. I'll do my 5 here. So New Orleans, I have in my pick, plus 11.5, Indy minus 2.5, Carolina plus the 13, Denver minus 3, and then Baltimore plus 7 points. I'm sensing a 5 for 5 in this one.
Oh, there you go. Well, that'd be good. I mean, if you could pull it off during this crazy week all over the place, that'd be something for sure. Again, fair enough. So I will take the Raiders to cover. I guess that was the 3 points. I will take the Bears to cover the 6. Let's see here. The Broncos to cover the 3, the Jaguars to cover the 5, and I will take the Dolphins to cover the 9.
I love all those picks except for Miami. I hope that they do it for you though. It's funny enough. I have both New York teams. I got the Bing Bong in my.
Yeah.
And they're
that's usually a recipe for disaster. But I think you did hit one of those.
Before.
Yeah, I think you did hit one of those before.
I did. Okay, so that'll wrap it up then. I'll post this one right away for the picks because we do have some games tonight. And I guess in this one go Colts because we're both in agreement with that one. I think that
not go Colts. I mean, if the Patriots win, I'm not going to complain whatsoever. Not go Colts. I just think for betting purposes, like I'm also a realist. Like the Patriots are going to have to eventually lose at some point down the stretch. Truthfully, if they win this game, it'd be great. And even if they lose the one against Buffalo next week, they'd still be the top of the division. So it's a huge game. But like I said, it just for betting purposes, it makes sense to go with Indy. So. But go Patriots, go Patriots.
Go Patriots for you, not for me. I have Indy everywhere also this weekend. So I got Indy everywhere. But that's gonna wrap it up. We'll get together with the guys, like we said, hopefully on Thursday, because there are some. There's a Thursday game Tennessee's playing. There's another Saturday game next week, and then also the Sunday.
And the way things are going, there's going to be games every day.
That's what I was going to say with the protocols we're going to have. It's going to be the 12 days of Christmas.
No, the 12 days of NFL Christmas for sure.
All right. That's going to wrap it up for this week. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and we will chat with you next week. Take care. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays.